So the song First Love is, I can confidently say, is my favorite song on this project. It's probably my favorite song that I've ever written. It's a song that's really close, near and dear to my heart. It's just a song that every time I hear it or lead it or like record it, like whatever, it's just always been my favorite, and it really just strikes a deep chord within me. It was a song that took a long time to kind of fully flesh out. It was like a couple years process to see it come out, but the fruit was so worth it for me. It started with just a group of friends, actually. We were just getting together and we were just talking about the church, and we were talking about faith, and we were just having a conversation, and just that topic of returning to our first love came, and just out of that idea of Revelation 2, where Christ is addressing the church and he says, you've done all these amazing things, these incredible acts of faith, you've endured through persecution, yet you have abandoned your first love. This is the one thing I hold against you. And I just remember that message has always been so strong in my heart. And so I remember with that group, I was like, man, let's write about that. Like, let's write a song about this and really capture that, because there's not a lot of songs that talk about returning to our first love. And so that was something I really wanted to write about and flesh out. So we spent, an hour plus just kind of like trying to flesh something out, and nothing came. Like, we had all these ideas. All we had was, I returned to my first love. That was the only phrase that we had, but the melodies never made it. The rest of the lyrics, like nothing made it. So we had this theme, and that was about it. And so a long time had passed. I began to like try and find different versions on my own, but those weren't really sticking. And so I finally just brought this theme to my friend Natalie Merrill, who's written a few of the other songs on this project with me. And I really just had a chorus at that point, and we just kind of started tweaking the chorus. And just after a couple of hours of just kind of going back and forth on ideas, we found this chorus, what it is now on the project. And I loved it, but I still felt like the song was really incomplete, like it was missing a lot. So we kind of wrote a chorus. Natalie and I wrote a chorus and a bridge and verses, but just nothing except the chorus felt like it was right. So we sat on it for another couple months, and it was a long couple months where I knew the song was needed. I knew like this was something deep that I wanted to not only sing, but to hear others sing and to lead others into singing. So just kind of like held on to the theme, but never saw anything of it. But then after that, as I knew this project was coming up, I wanted this song to be on it, but I wanted it to be complete. Like, I wanted to know and have that assurance. So I started just like praying. I was like, Lord, send somebody, because Natalie and I had been working on it for months, and kind of like felt like we had both hit that block, like just like a loss of vocabulary to really articulate what we were trying to say through this song. So I was just praying like, Lord, would you send someone who can just kind of give some fresh wind into this song. And it was around that time that I was just really getting to know one of my closest friends now, Elliot Ford, who's a student at ORU at the time. And we just got together. I was like, hey, Elliot, I know we've never done this before, but like, would you just take like an hour and just write with me? Like, I have this song, and it's got a chorus, but it needs verses, and it needs a bridge. It needs some help. And so he was gracious enough to say yes, or crazy enough, I don't know. But we just spent an hour just kind of going back and forth, and we just found verses that worked, and they weren't just verses that like kind of filled a need or a void, but they were like verses that I felt really articulated and really beautifully complemented the chorus. Is that I hear your beckoning, I hear you drawing near, you've come to meet with me here. Ultimately, returning to our first love looks like remembering that it's been the Father who's been pursuing us this entire time. Returning to our first love isn't so much about us in our pursuit, but it's really about recognizing the Father's pursuit of us, and then in return running to Him. And so Elliot just so beautifully captured that theme. And so we had the verses down, we had a chorus, but we still had this bridge that I didn't feel settled about. So I brought the new verses and the chorus back to Natalie, and I was like, hey, like, we need to finish this, like we need to find it. And so we just, once again, spent a lot of time just trying out different ideas until finally she just found this melody. She found this melody that really, I think, just like kind of quickened that creativity. And I was instantly kind of brought to the most simple command. Jesus is asked, what is the greatest commandment? It's to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so I just wanted to write that. If we're talking about first love, that there's already an element of simplicity and innocence. So why not talk about loving him with our whole heart and serving him all of our lives? And we just wanted to write that. And so we applied that idea into that melody. And it was just one of those where after it came together, we just looked at each other like, this is it. Like, this song is done, and we were in love with it. We loved it. We just couldn't stop singing it. For the rest of the session, we probably just sang it for like 20 minutes, just singing, I will love you with my whole heart. I will serve you all my life. And so we loved it. So the song was complete, and this was definitely by far the one I was most excited to see come together. So we demoed it with a bunch of friends in Colorado Springs, and I think even in the demo, there was just this sense of like, there's something special about this song. And so I just remember we spent so much time making sure that the music parts were just right, that the dynamics were correct. And even Natalie and I, like, recording vocals together as a duet, I really wanted to have that be a collaborative effort, because this song was just such like a long journey to find its home. But it's so beautiful how it all came together. So once the demo was done, I gave it to Bryce, who was producing the whole project, and he heard it and he's like, so what am I supposed to tweak with this demo? And I was like, nothing. Like nothing, because it was just done so well, and I think so tenderly and carefully, that it's like when we added a few things here and there, tweaked a few things, but really what you hear on the project is primarily what was recorded in the demo, just because it was done with so much like care and precision. And that's really just a shout out to the community around me who recorded the song and saw the potential in it so much. And so it's been multiple times where I've led it in different services, prayer room contexts, and it's just been incredible. I think the Lord really has his hand on this song because it's a message that he longs his church to embrace, is that we can get so used to our Sunday morning, week after week routine and the busyness of it all and the business of our lives, and we just forget our fascination and our wonder of who Jesus is. We forget how amazing really the story and the whole narrative of the gospel truly is. And it is my heart to see the church awakened to their first love. And this song resonates with me so much because it's a deep, deep passion that I have, that the church as a whole would return to their first love and have a vibrant relationship with Jesus.